All right, so man, let's just get straight to this video, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Obviously, as you seen by the title, it's very straightforward. I'm 25, I'm single, and I'm abstinent. Okay, very simple, very straightforward. Okay. Now, this whole point of this video is really just to talk about why I'm doing this, why I've been abstinent, what is it like, what are the changes I've seen in my life from being abstinent, and how it's impacting me as a 25-year-old who's single. And yeah, I just want to just give y'all the details of what it's like, because I feel like, I don't know, I don't hear too many guys, I hear people talk about it, but I want to like really just like talk about it from my experience. And if somebody's out there who is considering going abstinent and considering, dang, this glare is crazy. And I'm gonna get into like what abstinence is, or what I have been doing, and why I consider myself abstinent. Because somebody may say XYZ considers themselves to be abstinent, and it could be different from what I'm doing, okay? And in this video, I just want to talk about my experience being abstinent. How is it dating while being abstinent, or is dating even existent? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just want to give you guys, or just talk about my experience of literally just being 25, being single, being abstinent, following God, things like that. You know what I'm saying? How am I navigating this? You know what I'm saying? But as someone who still wants to be, obviously, like, you know, Lord willing, get married and things like that. So what is it like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it like? Like, what is it? What are the vibes like? I'm not gonna lie to you, it's literally been the best decision I've made in my life to this date, of like just going straight, I don't say cold turkey, but basically going cold turkey, just like, yeah, I'm not doing that no more, XYZ. So first thing first, why did I decide to go abstinent, okay? So to get some backstory too, for me, I never was really outside like that to begin with. Like, I never was the type of, like, growing up, I grew up in a cult, which also kind of made me like very scared to like do stuff or to be outside like that, whatever the case is. So I never really got exposed too crazy to it until maybe I was getting to college a little bit. Nothing crazy really happened there, like too crazy. Point is, I'm trying to say is like, yeah, like I never was really like outside like that. So by God's grace, I never really got like a huge taste of it, to where I just kept wanting more and more. But I still fell into, you know, saying pornography, things like that, XYZ, right? So the reason why I went abstinent now, and the reason why I've been abstinent, like going on next year, like early into next year, I'll be a year abstinent, which sounds crazy. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Sounds crazy. And for me, but when I say I've been abstinent, I mean literally I have not done any intercourse with anyone. I haven't even like kissed a girl on her lips. Nothing. Literally nothing. I haven't done stuff to myself. I haven't watched anything. I haven't like engaged with anything. And this is coming from somebody who felt like they were low-key trapped, like, you know, trapped into watching stuff. Even when I was like not having sex or not doing things, whatever the case is, I was still finding myself trying to release stress, like go through my situations and find a way out, if that makes sense. And my way out was that stuff. But now where I'm at now, it feels crazy to say, like, even the thought of watching that stuff, or the thought of like even playing with it, I don't know how to explain, but like my body literally has like a reaction of like, heck no. Like, there's no. And I remember being stuck in it to where I literally would think, you know, I can't even go a day. I can't go, like, if I go a week, I'd be proud of myself, then I fall. Or if I go like 2 weeks, I'm like, man, like, this is crazy, then I fall. Yo, like, I haven't touched it, I haven't watched it, none of that. Like, boys, I'm telling y'all, it's possible. Ladies, I'm telling y'all, it is possible. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna talk about too, like, how I even got to this point in the first place. So again, I went abstinent. I just stopped, you know, doing stuff, whatever the case is, back in like June. Or yeah, late June, like early July. And when I say I cut everything off, I mean everything. And the thing for me that really, to be honest with y'all, like, I guess started it to begin with, is the fact that if you've seen my other videos, I talked about my testimony before, but I was in a very like traumatic relationship, and I was married at one point. And me going through that and then like getting like done the way I got done, it honestly just made me really want to, for one, lock in with God and truly figure out like what I need to be doing in terms of like being obedient. And I think the first thing, in my opinion, of trying to be obedient, and especially when you're trying to go into abstinence and things like that, comes down to self-control, right? And if you're trying to be obedient to what God is telling you to do, you're gonna have to have some type of self-control. Like, you gotta have some sort of like self-control, and you gotta understand, like, yes, like, you know, God's going to help you through these things and whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, you still got to make the conscious decision to be like, you know what? I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, after that happened, after I got out of that situation by God's grace, it just like really opened my eyes to realize, like, for one, you know, I don't want to move in disobedience ever again. Ever again. One of the biggest things I tell people when they ask me questions about like my journey, my testimony, people that feel inspired by my testimony, whatever the case is, I always tell them like the biggest lesson I learned this year, or the biggest lesson I've learned in my life, is truly understanding that like if you feel in your spirit that you shouldn't be doing something, and you feel like God has shown you like you obviously shouldn't be in this or whatever the case is, and you decide to stay in it, I'm telling you, moving in disobedience can literally like, you know what I'm saying, unravel your life. And I literally began to witness that. I was in something that I knew I shouldn't have been in. I should have like, you know, got myself out of it way sooner, but I'm still moving in disobedience. Even though I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm trying to have a good heart. Maybe this person really isn't like this, whatever. You're still moving in disobedience because you know you shouldn't be with this person. Like, you're not meant to change nobody, whatever the case is. And I stayed in it, and I ended up getting like cooked, right? Or getting like a, you know what I'm saying, it's a big learning lesson in my life. Yeah. And then from there, after things ended, I was like, you know what? I am going to literally just like, I need to just control lust. I need to control like just all these different things that I know is going to lead me down a path of destruction, down a path of like poverty, down a path of just like not being able to get to wherever it is God has in my life because of my own actions. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I eventually just say, I'm done with all that. Like after going through that, I was like, I'm done. I locked in on just being like, you know what, God, I want to get closer to you. So that's another big thing. Like going into this abstinence journey, the biggest thing I could say was like, I started diving deeper into God, started diving deeper into my word. And that in itself made me want to sin less. And then not even just that, but once I got into the word more, and you know, that craving you have to fall maybe back into pornography, or the feeling you have to fall back into intercourse with, you know, different partners and doing things like that, what the flesh wants. Once you stop trying to feed your flesh, you will realize that, you know what I'm saying, especially when you start feeding your spirit, you will realize like these things that you thought you needed, you don't. The biggest thing too is like my mindset just shifted because I stopped thinking about the sense of like, yeah, I don't do this, or yeah, I try not to, you know, watch this, or I try not to have sex, or I try not to do this. It's the same thing as somebody asked me like, do you smoke cigarettes? I'd be like, I never once said, oh, I try not to smoke cigarettes. Doesn't even make sense. It's just because smoking cigarettes is not a part of my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's just not something that I do. So I always respond and be like, you know what? I don't smoke. Like somebody asked me that, but yeah, I don't smoke. Simple as that. I had to apply that same mindset to going into abstinence, going into not watching things, going into like not touching myself, going into like just not wanting to even hook up with a girl or whatever the case is. I had to stop saying, oh, I'm trying not to do this. No, it's just like, I do not smoke cigarettes. I do not partake in one night stands. I do not partake in giving myself up to multiple partners. I don't partake in watching this on my phone. I don't partake in that. I just don't do that. That is just not what I do. Somebody asked me, do I do drugs? I say, no, I don't do that. That's just kind of like the mindset change that I had that changed literally everything. Like it literally changed everything in terms of how I viewed what I'm doing, myself, self-esteem, just like, you know, who you know that God's called you to be, things like that. And once you change your mindset, it literally just changes everything. And I realized I was like, man, like, you know, so I'm not bound to this. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like even in the word, when it says it's renewing of the mind, like renewing of your mind, I had to start telling myself these things. I had to start speaking this over like myself and giving it to God. And once I started doing that, I promise you start seeing the world different too. Like once you start getting into your abstinence journey, you're not partaking in certain things, you're not watching things, whatever the case is, you view the opposite sex differently. You view just interactions differently. You view everything so much differently. You view it from a standpoint of more clarity, and you view it from a standpoint of just like, I don't know, like everything just kind of becomes more clear. So that's like one of the biggest things. I don't know, I just kind of went all over the place. I hope y'all still kind of following along what I'm saying. But yeah, change your mindset. Like changing my mindset changed everything. And that's where I kind of was just like, you know what, I don't do this no more. And then months and months started going on. I'm realizing, dang, I'm not really touching this. Dang, I'm not really watching this, whatever. Don't get me wrong, were there temptations? Yes. You know what I'm saying? But even when those temptations came, I had to remind myself too that God is faithful enough that in due season, he will suffice the needs that I have. I know he will. And you know what I'm saying? You begin to actually watch him slowly show you that, yes, I am going to suffice those needs, whatever the case is. And it's been a blessing. I would say it's definitely been a blessing. And just understanding that, hey, if you know what I'm saying, you just change your mind, you change your mindset, I promise you, you'll view these things that you thought you needed totally differently. And that's why I'm in the place that I'm in now. I'm 25. I just got a great career job, XYZ. But at the same time, obviously, like as a man, even if you're a woman, whatever the case is, like you're going to obviously want to have a partner. You know, you have these natural desires, natural needs. Even with that being said, you know what I'm saying? I just know that God will suffice in due time. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to your self-control. And again, also comes down to being obedient. I always say this too. When you want to walk in obedience, you have to also understand what comes with walking in obedience, right? Sacrifices, right? You're gonna have to sacrifice things that you think you need or think you thought you wanted. But if you're trying to walk in obedience, which you know in your spirit what God is calling you to do or moving you a certain way, if you try to walk or stray away from that and walk in disobedience, like I always had this saying that I said one time, it just kind of stuck with me, was like, if you don't have patience, you are going to become a patient. You get what I'm saying? If you don't have patience to walk in obedience, you'd rather just be impatient, you're going to become a patient. So it's basically the same thing as saying, like, if you don't take time to, you know what I'm saying, recover from an injury, you don't take time to do this, you're not being patient on certain things, you're going to find yourself getting injured in life, if that makes sense. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get injured in life because you're just going to continue to do things that, like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm just basically doing what I want. Yeah, I had to learn, like, there was things that was happening in my life that I realized I was like, man, why did this happen? Like, dang, this sucks, whatever the case is. But then I also realized it's because I was moving in disobedience. It was because I was moving in a space where I was like being impatient. I didn't know how to just sit still for a second and really sit on it and not move quick. Give things time, you know what I'm saying? Give things time. And that's what I was realizing, like, dang, okay, like, let me slow down. Let me just have self-control, you know what I'm saying? And walk in obedience. Yeah, like, this is like, it's just being abstinent is probably one of the best things I've done. And just like trying to have this, you know, sense of self-control, things like that. Because it just adds so much clarity to other things. And it also, I'm not gonna lie to you, it literally impacts your physical health. I've been losing weight. I've been getting leaner. I've been getting, I feel like I'm just becoming healthier, right? Even financially, I feel like I'm making better decisions. I'm not moving too quick to do this. I'm not moving too quick to do that. Whatever the case is, it just literally, it can change your life. It can change all these different aspects of your life. And I feel like once you realize that you don't need these certain things, you don't need that cookout tray. You know what I'm saying? Big double burger, Cajun fries, Cajun wrap with a Oreo cheesecake shake, 2 sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you really need it? You go to sleep, you realize, you wake up like, dang, I didn't even need that. Yeah, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what I've just been learning in this journey of being at this, you know, being 25, being single and being abstinent. And then also, like, when it comes to like dating, how is it for me dating in this season that I'm in? So number one, I would say, I really feel like when I really began to like just like, I understood like, okay, girls right now are a distraction. I don't need to be fooling with no girls. I just got out of something crazy. Don't need to be dealing with any girls right now. I need to focus on God and my purpose. And once I realized that, don't get me wrong, amazing, beautiful women, whatever the case is, I would come across them. Maybe there's interest there between both of it, whatever the case is. Or maybe I'm interested in maybe talking to this girl. Kid y'all not. Kid you not. There were so many times that I wanted to like engage on something or just talk to this person, whatever. But for whatever in my spirit, something was just telling me like, now is not the time for you to be messing with any woman. Don't even lead them on to think you're interested, because you know dang well you're not in a season to be dealing with that, or a season to even show up in the way that you want to show up for them. And I'm not gonna lie, was it easy? No, because I was low-key like, dang, it's just lonely as heck. Like, what the heck? Kind of feel like I was in the space of isolation and whatever the case is. And you just kind of have that longing to be with a partner. So for me, yeah, like I just had to literally tell myself, deny myself, and say like, you know what, you know, God, it just is a season for it, and I feel like I'm not in that season right now. And I knew that was just a season for me. Somebody else may say, oh, I could still talk to girls and that are like, cool, but I knew if I wanted to be obedient to what I felt in my spirit, talking to girls was not a good idea. Like, it just wasn't a good idea. So I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't do it. And I realized, I was like, okay, if I want to actually like, you know, move forward in life and move forward in things that I want to see for myself or whatever the case is, I can't be sitting here trying to like do things that I know that God is not leading me to do, or else I'm just going to find myself again in a situation where I'm becoming a patient because I'm impatient. Yeah, like it's been a blessing. I would say honestly, all in all, it's been a blessing. Like, I'm seeing things like happen in my life that I didn't, like a couple months ago, I would never have seen or never thought like, wow, this is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think for me, yes, like I would say it has been a blessing to my life. And I think if you guys are out there struggling with it, you feel like you can't, there's no way you can go abstinent. There's no way I can date somebody and not, you know, hook up, or whatever the case is. I recommend trying it just because it's like you will find so much more clarity in life. You'll find so much more peace in your life too, because you're not just like out here fooling with everybody. Now you're worried about if he's talking to somebody else after y'all just did what y'all did, or you worried about her if she's talking to some other dude while y'all after y'all just did what y'all did, whatever the case is. Like, you're not bounding yourself to people like that. You know what I'm saying? You're not bounding yourself to things that you don't need to be bound to. So that was a lot. You know what I'm saying? That was definitely a lot, a big spill. And I think I kind of touched on everything I want to talk about. Yeah, like dating while abstinent. Yeah, you're not fooling with nobody that you know this for a fact that they're being promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? While I'm dating and stuff, or whatever the case is, or seeing somebody, you definitely want to be with somebody that, or talk to someone that you obviously, once you see their fruit, take it for what it is. If they want to hook up, if they want to kind of do stuff, whatever, don't do it, bro. Because one thing about being abstinent, you got to be disciplined. Got to be disciplined, bro. Got to be disciplined. You got to hold yourself to a certain standard, because no one else is going to hold you to it except yourself. So if you know for a fact this person wants to do stuff, they keep kind of hinting at things that you just don't want to partake in, but you continue to be like, yeah, like, oh, maybe they don't want to, or maybe I'll convince them not to, like, whatever. Take it for what they're doing, bro. Like, take it for what it is and just be honest with yourself. Because for me, nah, like, I just know I can't. Like, I've been abstinent for, I think it's been almost like, what? It's been almost half a year now. I can truly say that yes, I found myself to have great discipline, great self-control. However, I know if I put myself in a very, very compromising situation, like, it's just not a good idea. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not a good idea. Because by all means necessary, I'm gonna tell this person to leave. Like, hey, you gotta go. I'll drop you back off. Whatever. Nah, you gotta flee from that, bro. So you gotta have discipline. When you're being abstinent, you're trying to walk in this certain way of obedience, things like that. You gotta have some discipline. And I'm telling you, it's just gonna benefit your life. Like, it's gonna literally benefit your life in ways, in all different areas of your life than just dealing with not having intercourse. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna actually impact your life in other ways too, that you be like, dang. So me restricting myself from doing this with this person and doing this and this to myself is actually now benefiting my physical health, is benefiting my finances, is benefiting my relationships, is benefiting my job, is benefiting this. That's how it literally works. And it's so cool to see it like play out. And I'm telling you can do it too. Like, I'm a living testimony. I'm telling you, I was stuck. I was in that stuff like crazy. Like, I'm telling you, I would fall at night, beat myself up about it, pray about it, get to God. Next morning, wake up, somehow fell again. Like, literally, like, I was cooked, bro. I was cooked. Like, it was just bad. And I was dealing with a lot of stress and things in my life. I was never a person to go out and like maybe smoke or do this or do that. But unfortunately, that was one of my vices or things that I did to like relieve myself of like the stress that I was dealing with. And it actually just made things worse. It literally just made things much worse, bro. Like, it didn't actually help me at all. So yeah, don't even play with it. Like, I'm telling you, it's not worth it. Just, you know what I'm saying? It's just an opportunity for you to really build self-discipline, self-control, and it just brings such clarity to your life. And you look at the world even brighter, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you just look at things more like intimately, because you're not seeking intimacy in the wrong places. Now you're gonna begin trying to look for it in the right places. You're gonna look for intimacy in God. You're gonna look for intimacy just in nature. You're gonna look for intimacy just in like conversations, interactions. But like, you're gonna look for intimacy in a healthier way, and it feels so good. It literally feels so good. Like, for me, one of the biggest things that I noticed when I was struggling with certain things, I would find myself like maybe getting nervous around a girl or whatever the case is, or whatever, because you feel like people know what you're doing behind closed doors, and you feel like, in a sense, like you're kind of like, ooh, like feel like you know what you just did. You know what I'm saying? Or you just feel like paranoid, because you just like you're doing stuff that you know you shouldn't be doing. If that makes sense. And yeah, like, you just find a sense of confidence as well. Like, there's a lot of different things begin to like honestly scale up or go up. And yeah, it's just, bro, it changes everything. Like, I'm not even joking. I wake up so happy just to see outside. I'm just happier. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm literally just happier. I'm more optimistic. I've always been an optimistic person, but I'm just like even more optimistic, where I'm like, you know what, things are gonna work out. God's got me. You just feel happier, man. Like, you just see things so much differently. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, I'm telling y'all, like, there's so many benefits to it. But I think a misconception too, I feel like, is to like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if there's really, I don't know what misconceptions people have about it, but I would definitely say one thing that I learned, you know what I'm saying? You definitely got to delete or get rid of things or remove things from your life that's going to cause you to fall back into like, you know what I'm saying, not being abstinent or want to fall back into like these different things. Whether it's people that talk dirty and they like to talk about stuff that they do, and that's going to make you feel like, dang, I should be getting into that too. I low-key wish I had that right now. Like that stuff really like rubs off on you, bro. Like you around it long enough, bro, you're gonna want to like do stuff. I'm telling you. Yeah, it's just like the reality. I ain't gonna lie, it's just the reality. And then, you know, obviously like on your phone, being careful what you watch, be careful what you interact with, listen to, all types of stuff. And yeah, it's crazy. Definitely, I would say 10 out of 10, highly recommend. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I know I just kind of gave like a dump of like how I'm feeling about it, but I feel great. That's all I had to say. It's my little diary, little journal entry. Yeah, I just had this idea as I was driving to church. I want to talk about me being 25, single, and abstinent, what it feels like, the positives from it, things like that, and how it's been a blessing to my life. I've been happier. I've been all these different things, and it just keeps going from there. I just literally wake up feeling more joyful, all these different things. And I was like, you know what? I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that people can do it too. You guys can do it. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, fellas, y'all can do it. You know what I'm saying? You're not alone. You're not alone. Is there struggles in it? Yes, but you're not alone. And you can get out of that situation. You can get out of that thing that you feel like you're stuck in. So anyways, that's what, yeah, it just came to my head this morning. I was driving to church. But anyways, like, share this video with somebody that you think could use this. It's also been maybe trying to like find accountability or want to learn what it feels like or what is it like, XYZ. Yeah, like share the video. Share the video with, you know what I'm saying? It could be a brother. It could be somebody at your church, a brother in Christ, sister in Christ, whatever the case is. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Share the knowledge. But yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in another video. I'm gonna start doing more talking videos. I haven't done sit down talking videos in a minute. But yeah, I'm gonna see y'all in another video. I'm gonna see y'all on another, I guess, a journal/diary, just dumping my thoughts out. Okay, see, this is where I just get up and walk away because, like, you know what I'm saying, I just get awkward, bro. This is why I just don't like outros, bro. Just don't. I don't like saying goodbye. I just want to keep talking. There's more and more and more. Talk. No, this one. All right, let me get up out of here.